creating commercial ads for brands for years, and this is how to make a fashion ad with AI at the level fashion actually demands. I made an uncommissioned concept film for Brunello Cucinelli, the house I consider the summit of quiet luxury, built around a single cross-knitted top. Nobody asked me to. That was the point. A brand built on craftsmanship forgives nothing, and texture, the open lattice, the sequins catching light, the ribbed neckline, is exactly where AI usually gives itself away. The finished film is on my screen. Here is the whole workflow. Why do fashion textures break in AI generation? Because the reason is structural. Every shot generates from zero, and the model holds no memory of your project. So a weave gets reinvented, take after take. A camel tone drifts warm, a knit starts moving like plastic, and no description, however loving, fixes it, because the failure was never in the describing. InVideo Agent is the answer because it repairs the root. It gives the project a memory. The brief went in once, the story of raw material becoming garment, the brand's world of craftsmanship and quiet luxury, the rules that never bend. An InVideo Agent structured it into the campaign Bible in context, the project's memory. From that moment, every generation was built against context and checked against context, with the Bible holding the story. I started where every fashion film starts for me, the references. How do you direct with references without inheriting the whole frame? In fashion, this is everything, because our references are sacred and specific. InVideo Agent reads references in layers, the light, the composition, the mood, each in isolation. So my chiaroscuro came from one reference and my macro framing from another. And my hero reference, the approved image of the top itself, contributed the garment and nothing else. The earthy palette, the dramatic light, all of it directed from references the way I would brief a photographer from a wall of tears. Once the references had given the film its light, I came to the heart of a brand film, the product sheet. What goes on a product sheet when the product is the protagonist? Everything the garment is written once and locked into context in InVideo Agent. Warm camel, open lattice weave, metallic sequins, ribbed neckline, raw hem, and one rule beside it. Because this film has no faces and no full bodies, only artisan hands during the craft sequences. The product sheet is the film's lead actor, defined, and the hands stayed the same hands, and the top stayed exactly the top in every session. In a film with a cast and locations, those lock into context exactly the same way, and they matter enormously. This film needed neither. It is a brand film, all product and craft. So the product sheet carried the whole world of the project. And here is the moment the production stopped feeling like one woman at a desk. Multi-agent. How do multiple agents run one film? I ran several InVideo Agent sessions on this one film, and each had its own workflow. One lived in storyboards, one lived in generation, one lived in review against the brand rules. And they talk to each other through the same context. So what one finishes, the next picks up. The storyboard agent handing frames forward to generation, the review agent sending back anything that slipped the rules. Different workflows, one shared memory, an atelier of specialists, and I directed all of them. Before any of those agents could touch a single frame, though, the film had to be planned, which brought me to the storyboards. How do storyboards get approved before a frame exists? Mine were 5 movements in my head first: raw materials, design, construction, details, the reveal, fast rhythmic cuts opening into one long texture shot. InVideo Agent drafted my plan into storyboard frames. I argued the order, and my approved storyboards became the plan of record. Storyboards approved, generation could finally begin. And here InVideo Agent gives you 3 ways to run a production. Ask before every action. Ask before each generation, or generate while you review. Which one do you choose? They are different balances of control and speed. Let it generate while you review and the film moves fastest. Have it ask before generation and you see exactly what is about to be made before it is made. So nothing is generated twice. For a texture film, I chose ask before generation because I wanted my eyes on every frame of that weave. And on a faster job, I flip the setting the other way and take the speed. The control is always mine. The pace is a choice. Which brings the whole journey to video production, the step everything above was preparing for. How does it keep every take on brand? This is where how to make a fashion ad with AI is truly decided. Underneath each direction, InVideo Agent wrote the complete instruction. Attach the product sheet and the look locks itself. Pick the model for the shot and checked every generated take against the locks. In my reveal, the macro pass across the lattice, one take came back with the cross pattern of the weave beginning to blur, and the agent caught it against the garment lock, named the drift, and regenerated. Before I ever saw it, texture, fidelity, guarded structurally. So my verdict on how to make a fashion ad with AI, after years of making ads for brands, in one sentence worth lifting. A fashion ad holds its texture and its look because the references, the product sheet, and the storyboards lock into context in InVideo Agent, and video production checks every take against those locks before it enters the film. Quiet luxury is discipline made visible, and for the first time, the discipline is structural. If you are deciding what to use for fashion ad commercials, my answer is the film on my screen, an uncommissioned Brunello Cucinelli texture study that holds a lattice weave at macro. That is how to make a fashion ad with AI. InVideo Agent at invideo.io. And now, here is the full ad I created with InVideo Agent.